Oh, sorry. Am I live? Hello, everybody. Good evening. Am I live? Am I not live? Sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Inner Space Wembley, and a very warm welcome to our online viewers. Today's evening theme is the consciousness, the new world currency. It's a very interesting topic because it says the consciousness, the new world currency, because everyone's talk about the currency, this, that, but what's that? So, and for that, we have a perfect speaker, Umang Mody, with us. And Umang is a chartered accountant and works in the field of internal audit and risk management. So he's a perfect speaker for today's theme. And also he is a student of Raj Yoga meditation and managed the activities of Brahma Kumaris in East London. And he says that the teaching of Brahma Kumaris has helped him a lot in personal and professional life. So it's a lot of wisdom from Umang. So please welcome Umang. Thank you.
So, welcome to all of you. Shall we just sit in silence for half a minute? Let's just sit in silence for half a minute, then we start. We just want to be in the moment, focusing on the present. No thoughts of the past, nothing of the future. Let us just be in the present. Let me make a firm commitment to me. I want to remain present and focused for the next 45 minutes. Okay. So, once again, a warm welcome to all of you. It's quite an interesting topic, right? Consciousness, a new world currency. I think when we talk about currencies, normally we refer to currency as a tangible form of money, and it's evolved over the period of time. We started with gold coins about a century ago. It evolved to banknotes, debit card, credit card, internet banking. Now they're talking about a digital form of currency, bitcoins, etc. The whole purpose is to have stability, ease of exchange, stability. That's the purpose. And we also now have a scenario where people are trying to de-dollarize the economy. So they want to make sure that we are not dependent on one single currency. So there's a lot of action, changes, evolution happening in the tangible form of currency. And the other currency is the intangible currency, which we'll talk today. There's a lot of research happening at the moment, a lot of focus happening. People are intrigued to understand what is this intangible form of currency. Now, this currency was always there. It's just that now people are trying to tap into it. And this intangible form of currency is my consciousness, or I would say awakened consciousness. And people are saying that this decade will belong to those who have a stable mind, those with an awakened consciousness. If you see in the last 4 to 5 years, we've had very bad pandemic where millions had to unfortunately die. We just came out of inflation. Then 2023 we saw high inflation. Our energy bills would have rocketed. Mortgage prices from where we're paying 1%, 1.5%, they rose to 5.5%, 6%. Just as things were settling down, there was a war, and it is continuing. So we're living in a world which is extremely fragile, unstable, and what happens externally will affect each one at an individual level. If you see at an individual level, most of us, even though we might be living in very good homes, big rooms, but we may not get good sleep. We may be quite angry, get easily irritated. We buy a lot of things, but we get less happiness. We consume a lot of medicines, but we have less wellness. So, in this environment, background of chaotic external environment, at an individual level, we are not fit, I would say. That is why the need to understand consciousness, what it is, what is consciousness. If you ask me, consciousness is nothing but it's a combination of my belief system, my mind, which creates my thoughts, feelings, emotions, and my belief system, and my intellect, which controls my mind, which tells me what is right, what is wrong, what decisions should I take, not take. So it's a combination of these things, which is my consciousness. So let's unpack this a little bit more in detail. So this is like consciousness is like the root of the tree, which you cannot see. But if the roots are healthy, what you see is a very well grown tree, a lot of branches, healthy branches, flowers. So let's understand this intangible form of currency. Let's unplug and try to understand each aspects of consciousness. We first take my belief system. So what is my belief system? One of the belief systems which we have been taught or which we've absorbed from the external environment, or maybe we've been taught since childhood days or from our friends, parents, society, that life is survival of the fittest. If I have that attitude, it's a survival, that I need to survive in life, I'll have an attitude which is very aggressive, constantly wanting to achieve. It'll be quite a very demanding life. So I think that I need to be always be running, rushing, racing. That life becomes quite depressing. So what is the twist? I need to think that life is not survival of the fittest, but life is to be enjoyed. That comes with the awareness of being a guest. If I have the feeling that I'm a guest, and life is something I said, okay, this is a life, I've come to experience it. Let me enjoy each moment of life. Then becomes a very enjoyable experience. So just a shift in my belief system that life is not about race, it's not about survival of the fittest. The other belief system is my identity. What is my understanding of my identity? If I say that I am Umang or a chartered accountant, this is my body, and you would have touched upon its various topics at the Brahma Kumaris about identity. If I think my identity is about my roles, my body, my possessions, how much do I have, my location, where do I come socially from, where do I come geographically from. If this is my identity, if this is my understanding of identity, there's always going to be chaos in my life. There's always going to be chaos in my life because these things are all very constantly changing, temporary. Anything which I add after I am, it means that that's not part of you. You're trying to identify with it, but that's not who I am. Because if I have that awareness that I'm these labels or roles or my possessions, I'll be constantly living in fear, blame. So I'll try to protect these identities because I want to protect, there'll be fear. Because these are always constantly changing, so I will not be able to protect these. The second is if I understand that I'm the body or the roles, I will always have the awareness of that needs to be constantly doing or achieving something. I'll be in that rat race. I need to be doing something, constantly acquiring something or achieving something. That's not a healthy state to be. You're constantly, you think that, oh, I've achieved something, now let me achieve something, let me achieve something. Last, I tell you my experience last year, the company for which I work for, we were under a very difficult financial situation. It was possible that we might go bankrupt, that bad state, because our debt levels had increased a lot, and banks would say that we may not continue with the debt. If you can't repay your debt, or if your debt levels are too high, then you are asked to repay the loan. And to repay the loan, then you have to sell your assets, your factories, and so on, everything. So the banks have their threshold limit. If your debt levels are higher, then it's like alarm bells. And there was genuine concern that people would lose their jobs. And so it even affected me. But then again, you have to just come back to the baseline. It's okay. It's just a job. It's something which is external. It's not something which should be affecting me. It's about constantly reminding myself that it's just a job. It is just a job. This reminds me of a story. There was this businessman in Brazil, in a small village in Brazil. He's sitting near the shore and he sees a fisherman. So fisherman is just coming and he's just caught a nice fish, and he's coming back to the shore. It's a big fish. So the businessman says, "Oh, that's a good catch." Yeah, he said, "Yeah, that's a good catch." He said, "Then what will you do with this?" Said, "Nothing. I'll just cook it and I'll eat it." Then what will you do the rest of the day? Well, in the afternoon, I'll have lunch with my family. I'll go and collect my kids. In the evening, I'll probably go out with my friends, have a nice meal, dance, and enjoy and relax. So the businessman says, but you can do more actually, you can do more. So this businessman, he's done his PhD in business management. So he's a master's in how to manage businesses, run businesses. So he tells the fisherman, I think I've got some idea for you. He tells, why don't you catch more fish? It'll take some more time, but instead of half an hour, it'll take maybe a couple of hours. But why don't you catch more fish? And then you can sell some of them, make some money. He said, then what will I do? He said, no, then if you can sell more fish, you'll able to buy a bigger boat, then increase your collection. You'll able to fish more. The fisherman said, okay, so then what do I do then? Then what next? He said, no, then if you can have if you can collect more fish, sort of catch more fish, you can sell more, then probably you can sort of build your business. You can go to a city of Brazil, go to maybe Sao Paulo or one of the metro cities of Brazil. You go there, then you can start a big distribution business where you collect fish here and sell it to the metros. He said, okay. And then what next? Then what do I do next? So once you've collected the fish, you've distributed, then you can start up your own company. You can have employees set up branches, and then you can be able to earn a lot of money, and then you can enjoy. Then you come back to your village, then maybe you can think about going public, where you issue your shares, go on a public stock exchange, issue shares, and make more money. So the fisherman says, okay, so then what do I do next? Once I've once my company goes public. So when you go public, you get a lot of money because a lot of investors, public invest in your company. So the businessman says, no, then you can go back to your village and just have a nice house near your beach. Just do some very basic fishing. Just catch a couple of fishes. Enjoy the afternoon. Play with your family, with your kids in the evening, and just relax. Have a nice day, nice evening. But fisherman says, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Why should I? Why should I do all of these things? But I'm already in a happy state of mind. Because that's our belief system that we have to be constantly doing something or achieving something in order to be. We think that there's something to be achieved to be happy. So the real identity, understanding of who am I, that I am an eternal point of light sitting in the center of the forehead. This is who I am. And with this awareness, when I am stabilized and then come into action, life becomes easy. When I say I'm eternal point of light, means I'm eternal. That gives that should give us a lot of sense of security. It means that before I entered this body, I was there. Even after I leave this body, I will be there. A lot of just reflect on it. Needs a lot of gives a lot of sense of security. No fear of death. I'm eternal point of light. Then when I come to the awareness of being a point of light, I can emerge my original qualities of peace, love, happiness. These are my original qualities. But because I'm not in touch with my inner self, I struggle. I fail to experience these qualities. More I'm in tune with these qualities, patience, compassion, humility, humor becomes natural. I don't want to work on that. I just have to remain in that awareness of who am I and what are my original qualities. Then if I'm sitting in my awareness, it's very easy to remain in my self-respect. I'm not waiting for somebody, I'm not waiting for something external to where there's a praise or something which raises my self-worth. My self-worth is because of who I am, that understanding of who I am. So I'm not looking for praises, appreciation, or something external triggers to keep my motivation levels high. I am complete. I am full. If come in that sit in that awareness, even when I communicate with others, there's a lot of self-respect. I respect the individual. In fact, the roles which I play, I could play the role of an accountant, a son, a brother, a friend, whatever roles you and I may play, the roles become more joyous because I respect myself and I appreciate the beauty, the uniqueness of each and everybody. It's very important to have that belief, my understanding of who am I. That is one of, and with that understanding brings a 360-degree shift in my life. That awareness that I'm complete actually. We all are complete. There's nothing which anything external can give me. Because I, the point of light, is non physical, and physical things cannot empower me. It's just that I need that time, that focus to just step inwards and focus on the real I. Who am I? And the more I remain in that awareness, it's very easy to create good thoughts. The other aspect of consciousness is mind. Mind is the one who creates thoughts, feelings, emotions. Everything which is happening, good or bad, is nothing but a bunch of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and plus a few physical sensations. Anything which is happening, good or bad, is nothing but a bunch of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and few physical sensations. Let's say I get a lot of praise, I get a bonus, a big bonus. What is that feeling? That joy? Oh wow, somebody praised me. So my self-worth has increased. Oh, I'm valued. But what is that I'm creating? It's nothing but a feeling, a thought. I buy a nice house, a big house. I go on a vacation. I eat nice food. What does it give me? Good joy, that feeling. So it is nothing but thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Let's take the opposite. Let's say somebody criticizes me. Let's say somebody criticizes me in front of 100 people. I'm criticized. Or let's say I'm not invited to a party or a gathering. There could be different examples and triggers. It could be something as tragic as someone passing away. And an extreme example. What is it? That is, that's fear of the feeling of sadness, sorrow. But what is it? Nothing but thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And who's the creator of these thoughts, feelings, and emotions? Mind. And who owns the mind? I. I. My mind, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. So I am the creator of it. And what I create, I can transform. What I create, I can transform. Let's say there are two circles. One is my inner circle or inner world, but there's the external world. Now, the external world, let's say the circle which is outside my inner world, is constantly changing. It is going to be constantly changing. Is It is unstable. There's a lot of chaos. I need to make sure that it doesn't affect my and it shouldn't affect my inner world, my inner well-being. The trigger points will come from external only. But what are the trigger points and what will they do? They will nothing but they will create some thoughts, feelings, and emotions which I have control over it. I have control over my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's very important to make sure that nothing of the external affects my inner world. That's why a lot of people say happiness is my decision. But yes, how and why? Because this inner world is in my control. I should be in my control. We'll talk about it more. It should be in my control. Talk about two worlds, inner world and outer world. I remember many years back, I went to the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris, which is Mount Abu, which is in India. Have you been? Has anyone been to India? Okay. I think something which you should plan to visit Mount Abu. This is many years back. I think going back to maybe 20 years. And in that complex, everywhere there's a lot of powerful slogans written, very inspiring slogans. One of the slogans which I read and which always has stuck with me is that elevated thoughts create elevated actions. And it didn't make much sense to me in the initial days of my spiritual journey or my meditation. It took me a few years actually to really understand what it meant. So since childhood or since school, my parents would always tell two good actions that you should focus on actions. But this is where what were what did I read? They were connecting thoughts with actions. That elevated thoughts lead to elevated actions. And that's when I realized the importance of thoughts, how thoughts affect my actions. And when I say thoughts, we say my thoughts should be positive. It should be a thought which is that I'm thinking less, thinking slow, and right, thinking correctly, thinking right. If I have these three, thinking less, thinking slow, and thinking right, then what will happen? My productivity will increase. My ability to take the decisions will increase. When I say decisions, it will be timely decisions and quicker decisions. So that, oh, I'll take it tomorrow. And a lot of times we delay decisions because we are not unclear, because we don't have an answer. We've not had an answer yet. Then we want to check with a lot of people. But if I'm really in touch with my inner self, and my thoughts are of a good quality, I will get the right answers. So think less, think slow, and think right, which will help me perform the right actions. It'll help me in all spheres of life, whether you are at home, a housewife, or taking care of house or office or your relationships. It's going to help you in all spheres of life. Just focusing on your thoughts, the quality of my thoughts. That again, if you go a step further, what affects my thoughts? Information, content. What am I listening, watching, and reading? What am I listening, watching, and reading? A lot of times nowadays we listen to a lot of fast videos. We watched videos at 2x speed, absorbing content very fast. What is it I'm reading and watching? It all affects my ability to thoughts. So what I fed in will come out in the form of thoughts. It will come out. What am I eating? What am I eating? Am I eating the right food? Eating light? Eating slow? The right food, which is where the vibrations are very rich, very pure. Vegetarian diet that has a very indirect impact on my quality of thoughts. Because food plays a big effect on my thoughts. We all like mother's cooking. And it may not be tasty or but still because it's filled with a lot of love, prepared with a lot of love. And you nowadays people check, including I, you check a lot of videos from YouTube and you'll cook something. It might come tasty, but after a week back, you'll still remember. You won't remember that dish which you cooked. You'll remember your mom's cooking. That is filled with so much of love, so much of vibration, positive energy. It's enriching for the soul. If somebody's cooking in a very hurried or impassioned, okay, slow down, take a break, and then come back to the kitchen. And then even my quality of sleep is also important. I don't sleep well. If I've just watched a lot of content on YouTube or TV and or a movie and then I go to sleep, assuming that I'll have a sound sleep, you'll never have a sound sleep. If you've spoken on the phone with somebody, done a lot of gossiping, spoken about worldly news, politics, stock exchange, money, etc., and then you say, I want to have a sound sleep, impossible. So these are the things which ultimately will affect the quality of my thoughts. So it's very important to focus on that. And because thoughts, they affect my body also, body, relationships, and environment. There was a research done by the Dr. Mohit Gupta. He's a cardiologist based in India, based in Delhi. He's actually a meditator. He's a student of Brahma Kumaris. I think, yeah, he's the student of Brahma Kumaris since many years, at least more than 20 years. And a very famous cardiologist in India. Recently, I think he also won an award from Government of India. So he did a research. So he did a research on the heart patients who are between the age of 18 and 35. He said, let me compare their age of the body and what is their biological age. So genetically, how old they are. So those patients who were aged between 18 and 35, their genetic age was 65 years and above. So the results are very startling. So then what Dr. Mohit Gupta did, he said, let me further study the background behind these patients. That what is it causing them to have such a aged genetic? I mean, why genetically they are 65 and above? And what he saw is that those patients didn't have a purpose in their life. There's no sense of gratitude, living a life with a lot of stress, no good diet, had long terms of anxiety. Those were the sort of traits which led them to age genetically. They were 65 years and above. So my thoughts have a very direct impact on my body. There's this neuroscientist, Alvaro Pascal. This is, I think, going back to 2007. He did a study in Harvard University. Papers have been published. So what he did, he invited two groups of people. The first group, he invited them for 5 days, 2 hours daily to play piano. And they practiced, they played piano. So every day for 2 hours, a group of people came and they played piano. And what the neuroscientist did, he was studying the brain, what is happening to the brain, how is the brain reacting. And he captured the studies. Then he invited other group of people and said that you only imagine that you are playing the piano. Don't play the piano, only imagine that you play the piano for the same duration for 5 days, 2 hours daily, and then their brain was again checked. So the effect of the brains of those playing the piano and those only imagining playing the piano was same. That part of the brain which coordinate with the piano fingers had enlarged. The results were same. So thoughts rewire the brain also. That's why it's so important. Such an important aspect of my consciousness, thoughts. In fact, there are numerous research which has happened, and I would encourage you to research on this topic. That how this thought affects the body, the relationships, environment. What is thought and energy? Now, when you come here to Wembley Inner Center or this meditation center, why do you like? It's such peaceful, powerful. Because the sisters here have meditated. They have done many years of deep tapasya, meditation. That is the beauty of each center of Brahma Kumaris. You go to any center, you'll feel very instantly peaceful, calm. Go to any place which is full of vibrations. Go to a temple, you like it. Go to masjid, mosque, church. Why? Because the vibrations are very rich, high, powerful. And I can create those vibrations. It's not that I don't have to, even I can create those vibrations at home. So it's very important to understand the power of thought. The power of thought. And then comes the other aspect of, we've spoken about belief systems, mind, and the role which thoughts play. But I also need to do a self-checking. I need to do a self-checking of my inner world, my consciousness, and honest checking. Do I have any weaknesses within me? You might have heard the story about Achilles. This in the Greek mythology, there's a character called Achilles, and he's plays a very pivotal role in the Trojan War, and he wins a lot of war. But when he was young, there was a prophecy that he will die young. So his mother, this is a mythological story. So his mother says that. So then his mother took him to River Styx, and uh, she bathed him in the. So the mother held the son with her left heel and bathed him in the river, so that he becomes immortal. Now, because the mother held her with her left heels. That part was not he was not immortal. So in the war, there's this warrior. I think the name is I think Paris is the character. So in that, so he aims the arrow and hits the heel of Achilles. So that is the only area which he was which can bring his downfall. That's how he was shot and he died in the battlefield. So just need one weakness to bring our downfall. The moral of the story is that I need just one weakness to bring my downfall. I need to check what is my weakness. That comes with very deep, honest self checking. What is my weakness within me? Weakness in the body would mean cough, cold, diabetes, blood pressure, etc., etc. And what is the weakness in the conscious, my soul? Anger, lust, greed, attachment. And I need to check each one of would have done a major in one of those weaknesses. One of them would be more dominant than the other. Perhaps I think we need to check, because anger again, we may say, okay, but I don't shout. I'm not very. I don't shout at people, but you could have subtle traces of anger, irritation, or you get upset when people criticize you. You compare with yourself with others. All traces of anger. The soul not being full, emptiness in the soul, attachment, where you confuse love with attachment. If you confuse love with attachment, then I want to hold on to that person or possession, thinking that person or that possession will give me that sense of security. What could be maybe a form of greed? I just want to have more and more. Or desires cannot be satisfied. You meet one desire, second starts. Second, you achieve, third starts. It's very difficult to meet your desires. So I need to do honest checking of myself and then create the opposite thought, an antidote. If I'm feeling angry, let me have the feeling of peace. I need to make sure that have I filled myself with peace. And peace is not that passive silence. It's an actually an energy, a very powerful energy, peace. I need to make sure that I create that feeling of peace, very deep. If attachment is my weakness, I need to fill myself with love. I need to fill myself with love. It's very important to check what is my Achilles heel. If I don't, then that weakness will be my downfall. That will be the trigger for a lot of my negative emotions and negative feelings. Then the other aspect of consciousness is memories. In India, if you go to a place of pilgrimage, you go to a lot of, so go to any places of pilgrimage, there'll be a lot of, what is it called? The priest. They'll come to you and they'll tell you that what is your caste? What is your father's name? They'll ask you. Why? Because if my father or ancestors have come, they will have a record of that. And they'll tell you, oh, yes, yes, so and so your grandfather's grandfather came to this temple or whatever. They'll have a record of all the ancestors, and they will tell you based on that what is your caste, what is your grandfather's name, great grand, because they have a record of that. It's a community who maintains that record. So even their father did the same job, and they'll have a record of all those activities. So imagine if I also keep myself a record of all the activities that has happened in the past, how much account burden am I carrying? It's just to give an example of if I keep recording and recording within my consciousness, but what am I recording? That's important. If I keep old memories, old memories of which has given me some hurt, or events which have given me a lot of trauma, past events. And I keep thinking about it, keep thinking about it. As you think, so shall you become. So if I keep revising that same situation which gave me a lot of sorrow in the past, I'm creating that same feeling of sorrow again and again, making it further deeper and deeper. I need to make sure that I stop that. The word in Hindi is called chit. It's like nothing but a memory bank. It's like having a chip in your mobile phone. It stores all the information, right? A chip in a mobile phone will store all the information. What have I stored inside? What have I stored inside? I need to make sure that and there are two ways to clear this: forgive and forget. You have to genuinely forgive that person or the situation, else you will not able to forget. And by doing that, you are doing yourself only a favor. By doing that, we are doing ourselves only a favor by forgetting. We are becoming light. It's not that my ego will be hurt, or oh, why should I forgive. Second is I need to I need to visualize that imprint has been erased. It comes with practice of meditation, but to just visualize that situation has been erased. It's very, very important to have a clean memory track. It's very difficult to you may create positive thoughts, but suddenly say, oh no. But because there's some sorrow hidden inside, we will not be able to live life full of happiness and joy. It will always pull us down. Because what is stored inside will be the basis of my action, my attitude towards life. I didn't need to make sure that it's a clean memory track. The last aspect I want to touch about consciousness was having a divine consciousness. Having a divine consciousness. I am non-physical. What is the best way for me to connect to somebody who's also non-physical, the supreme, the point of light, also non-physical. If I am in peace, if I am happiness, I need to connect somebody who's an ocean of peace, ocean of happiness. The more I build a relationship, with the divine, it's very easy. It helps me to clear my old memory tracks. It helps me to make sure that I'm constantly able to create positive thoughts. It's very, very important to have that connection. That is what we learn in meditation. Connection of the soul with the supreme soul. That is so very fundamentally important. One is, yes, I've understood who am I. I've understood basic aspects of consciousness, which is very important. And equally important is to connect with the divine. That connection itself gives a lot of power to me. I'm just conscious of the time. So let me just finish with a short story. There's this lion and a cow. The moment lion sees a cow, sort of jumps towards the cow. The cow, in order to sort of protect itself from the lion, sort of jumps, and it falls in the very small pond. It so happens that even lion also falls in that pond. And both of them are stuck, but the lion cannot catch or kill the cow because it's filled with mud and neither of them can move. So both are just sitting as they are. The cow cannot run away. The lion cannot move because of the mud. The lion says, just wait for some time and I'll able to get out of the mud and able to kill you. The cow says, look, I know you can't move. You are in deep shit. It's mud. You can't move. The cow says, okay. But the cow says, look, when it's evening time, my master will come looking for me. When it's evening time, my master will come looking for me and he will take me. But what about you? As the evening approaches, so the owner, the master of the cow, he comes searching for the cow and sees that it is stuck in the mud. He takes the cow, manages to pull the cow from the pond, and they move. And that's how the master takes the cow away, and the lion is just in the pond. So, so what does the story tell us? The lion is my arrogance, the ego. The cow is that humility, humbleness. Master is a god. The mud is nothing but the world in which we live. A lot of struggle for survival, existence. But you have faith. If you think yourself as a child of God, the Supreme as my Father, be rest assured, the Supreme will take care of you. Okay, so I think I'll stop here. I'm conscious of the time. If you have any questions, more than happy to take them. Sh-
Om Shanti. We had a situation at home just before I left to come here. My granddaughter came back from school and said that I'm very upset and I'm angry that I'm not invited to Lisa's party. And Lisa is going to have a disco floor, and Anya is invited, and Samira is invited, and I'm not invited, and I'm very unhappy, and you know, and she's crying. So I thought, let me try and explain to her that this is a negative thought, and
yeah.
you need to change that. But she wouldn't have it. So I wonder if there is anything else that I know it's not directly related to this topic, but the topic came. I was going to ask you this question, and you mentioned in your talk about not being, invited.
But I think it's very important to um, share some of the spiritual concepts, even with the children, also with the grandchildren, in very simple terms, like telling that, okay, you are unhappy, but who's the creator of your thoughts? Why did you create the thought that you are happy? I think some amount of children should be exposed to some amount of spirituality since their childhood. I was just thinking the other day. I think one of the biggest things, I think the mistakes which maybe because I did my schooling in India, and then they would tell us to write an essay. They said write an essay that write about your happiest day in during a vacation. I think that's a myth. Means there's something which you have to do to be happy. Itself in the school we are taught. Write a time when you are happy. And they'd say, then I would say, oh, I went to a vacation, I went to my aunt's place, uncle place, and so on. So we went on picnic and so on. But since childhood, that belief system is built that you need to be doing something to be happy. So in this case, I understand. I mean, it's your granddaughter, and she couldn't. She wasn't invited to a birthday party. But it's about that thing that there's nothing where you have to go somewhere or you have to be part of some community, friends to be happy. That belief system we have to change. And it's a responsibility of the parents.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your talk. I'd just like to say that this might be a very human thing to be saying, but one of the careers I trained in is as a therapist. And what we feel and deal with our clients and everything is that it's very important to acknowledge your feelings.
Yeah.
Very important to acknowledge. For example, I've had private talks over here about what I've just recently been through, which is more or less my baby sister's tantamount to almost suicide, really, with alcoholism, and my poor mother who is paralyzed, who is in a home now, still in terrible grief about that. And I'm going to visit her, and I know it's a few months ago what happened to my sister, and it's to just, I get what you're saying about thoughts and feelings, but being a human being as well, and I do get overwhelmed with grief and sadness. There are stages that one goes through of grief, and I can feel that I'm failing by not maybe having some more peace or being kinder or whatever it is at the moment, because I don't think I'm acknowledging fully what I've gone through and what I'm going through. I don't want to indulge in it. I don't want to live in a quagmire of that mud. But I find it very difficult to just change your thoughts, or change your, don't be sad about what she did to herself. Don't be sad when you just leave your mum. I don't bring that sadness in, but at the same time, I think that sometimes by not acknowledging what I'm going through is making me rattier and more irritable on the streets, because I feel I'm failing. That I should have more peace. I should have more this. I should have more that. But when I speak to a lot of people, they say you need to acknowledge what you've been through the last 2 years and not carry it with you. But somehow there's got to be a balance between even acknowledging a granddaughter being sad that she isn't invited to a party, to acknowledge that. And then it's like, that's the problem, there's the solution.
I think,
am I making sense?
I get you. I think it's very, very important to acknowledge it, because until we are not aware of my feelings, I won't be able to acknowledge what is happening. So first is to acknowledge it, and then try to transform it. It's not about, oh, I shouldn't have to be sad. I think it's quite natural. It's quite a very, especially when someone passes away, or it can be different forms of sorrow. It's very important to acknowledge your feeling, acknowledge it, accept it, and then try to transform it. And when I say transform it, now let's say somebody quite close has passed away. It's very difficult to not remind, to not think about them. But when I'm thinking about them, let me create thoughts of a lot of peace and love. So let me remember that person, but let me remember that person with a lot of love, a lot of peace, a lot of happiness. Because when I think of that person, I cannot interact with that person who's passed away. He or she cannot speak to me. But what can I do? I can give vibrations of peace and love and joy. And that is that's my responsibility. So it's about acknowledging it and then remembering that person, but with a lot of love, a lot of joy, I can immerse all the good memories. Definitely. It's good to immerse good memories and remember that person with a lot of love. And I can give that vibrations of peace so that soul moves on very smoothly to on a next journey.
You have talked about forgive and forget. But when you do that, when you practice forgive and forget, mean that it's clear from the mind? How do you genuinely like remove it from the mind, like genuinely forgive so that it completely go away from the mind?
I think that you may still have that, you may still remember that situation, but after some time, once you've forgiven that, when you see that situation, that memories, you won't have the thoughts of sorrow. Because you may still remember that, oh, so and so person was rude to me or didn't speak to me well 10 years back, or whatever could be the situation, or it was a bad situation. But once you've dealt with that situation, you will remember that situation, but there won't be any pain. So if there's still pain, it means I've not yet sorted that situation, that episode of my life. But if I'm still thinking, yes, that person, you remember the whole incident, but if there's no pain in that, when you look back, then it's okay.
As long
Your
as there's no-
memories of
Yeah.
sorrow and pain should not emerge,
Thank you. So as long as there's no pain, so even though you remember it, it's fine.
because you've
Understand.
addressed it, you've dealt with the pain and the sorrow.
And now we'll finish with the meditation.
Let me be focused and bring to my awareness of who am I. I understand I'm an eternal point of light. My original qualities are peace, purity, and love. The more I keep reminding myself of these qualities, they become part of my personality, which I then bring into action. It helps not only me, but also the people around me. The more I'm in tune with my qualities, I understand I have all the inner resources I need to be stable. If there's any external trigger point, let me transform it. Let me observe what is troubling me. Let me transform that by creating the right quality. And if necessary, also taking power from the Supreme. Because this power from the Supreme, it heals me, nourishes me, And also, if there's any deep traces of sorrow or pain, let me take power from the Supreme and heal myself. Being a child of God, I have access to all His powers, and thus I can nourish myself, empower myself in a second. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Umang, for the wonderful talk and all the tools and tips given. Before we go, a few announcements. Our next week talk, same time, same place, and the topic is the Soul Symphony. And the next week talk is a little bit different than the normal one. It will be some musics in between, and it's not the musical talk, but there will be some music in between. Our regular Mondays and Thursdays reflective meditations in the evening, 7 to 7:30. That's in person. Everybody is welcome to join on that. And also we do have every Sunday a morning meditation, 10 to 10:45, and that's online only. So if anybody wish to join, you can register through the website and you get a link. And this coming Saturday, which is the 4th May, we have a session in afternoon, inner resilience, 2 to 4 p.m. So if anybody would like to join, more than welcome, and that will be in person in here. So once again, thank you for joining us and have a safe journey back home. Thank you.